Okay, so today we're going to do a alternative or extra credit assignment that you can choose to do or not do. It's a pretty easy assignment, so I would suggest you try it and go ahead and turn it in because it'll replace your lowest grade. All right, so let's go ahead and start. First thing that you want to do is go up here to the window menu and choose workspace and then go to the photography workspace. It's probably going to change your thing over there because you're probably in the essentials workspace, which looks like this, and then we're going to switch that over to the photography workspace, which looks like this. Okay, so let's look at a couple of things. The first thing, of course, that you want to do is, as always, when you're working in any kind of photograph, is take that photograph and make a copy of that layer and get rid of, or not get rid of, but hide the background layer. And then we're just going to call this castle. All right, we always want to rename our layers. That's good practice in Photoshop. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to our adjustments and we're going to choose black and white. What we're doing is we're going to make a black and white photograph. So if I click off of preview, this is going to show you what the original color photograph looks like, and this is the black and white. This is what it would do if you just let it do it automatically. These are the presets of these, and you know, that's not a bad black and white, but it could probably be better. So let's just kind of play around with some of these. Like you notice as I pull this red slider to the left, it does make the photo darker, but in some ways it makes the darker areas of the photograph kind of stick out a little more. But you have to be careful as you do that you don't lose the details, because in the original photograph what we had was some very light areas on the castle. So let's go ahead and try lightening up some of the yellows in the picture, and you see how it brings back some of those lightnesses, right? But still keeps the darker areas darker. So let's see what happens if we pull the green one way or the other. Okay, so there's a lot of green in this picture. By pulling it to the right, we get a much more of an interesting look in this picture. Of course, the blue, probably want to leave that kind of where it was, around 60. Same with those darker blues. I doubt the magenta slider is going to make much of a difference. It's not a lot of magenta in this picture. So then if we turn off that's the original again. Right? And then that's our black and white. Now there's a lot of other custom filters that you could choose to use up here as well. You know, that give you some real interesting looks. But let's go ahead and let's go ahead and save this particular version. So we're just going to go to File, Save As, and then you're going to make sure it has your name. And then we're going to call this Black and White 1. And make sure that you save this as a .png file. Always photographs in this class should always be PNGs. And then you're going to upload that to the classroom. Okay, now one of the cool things about saving our original, turn off this castle, so we can go back to the background. We can always make another copy. So we're going to call this variation 2. Right. Turn off the background again. Click on, remember we always want to click on the layer that we want to affect. So we're going to click on this variation 2 layer. We're going to go back up to image, adjustment, black and white. This time we're going to try out some of these other filters. So there's a high blue filter. a darker filter. Green. It's not a bad look. All right. High contrast red. Infrared. Lighter. Lighter looks pretty good. Maximum black. Maximum white. So you kind of go through these until you find one that you see gives you a pretty good starting point. So I really like that lighter as a good starting point. But I am going to pull the red filter maybe to the left. Brighten up the sky just a little bit by bringing that blue filter over like that. And then just click OK. So here's Castle, and there's Variation 2. So you can see there's some differences between the two, right? In how I still like the original one that we did, Castle, better. Especially if you look at the pine needles over here on the left hand side of your screen. Right? In Variation 2 it's a lot darker. In Castle it's a lot lighter. But let's go ahead, turn off Castle, and then leave our Variation 2 one, and let's go ahead and save that one. We're going to also save that one as your name. Let's change this to PNG. Right, your name. And we're going to call this BW Black and White 2. Say. We're going to go ahead and upload that one as well. So I encourage you to go ahead and try something even different. Go ahead and make a third variation, right? Call this Variation 3. I want you to try to find something even different with your Variation 3 and see if you can come up with a different view, maybe darker, maybe really light. Just something that's different from our first two variations, and then I want you to save that one as your name, Black and White BW3, and upload that also to the Google Classroom under this assignment.